Good afternoon, my name is Cole Smidt. I'm with
Brittney Shigley.
and today we're talking about construction loans. Today I'm going to introduce Brittney Shigley. She's going to introduce herself, give us some of her background, what motivated her to become a loan officer, and then we're going to talk about what is renovation loan, what is a construction loan, what is the purpose of these type of loans, and when are we going to use these type of loans. So let's get started. Brittney, who are you and what is your background?
Oh, we're doing it now? Okay. Okay, so do we need to do it again then? You're going to ask me again?
Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Brittney Shigley. I'm a loan officer at People's Bank. My background is I come with about 6 years of retail banking where I started as a teller. I was a personal banker at a different bank, and then I switched over to People's Bank, and then I was a personal banker again, and then that is when I made the switch over to be a loan officer. When you're in retail banking and you're a personal banker, basically everything is about figuring out how to solve people's financial goals. Like people come in, they have goals, they have problems, you need to solve them.
Okay.
And it's a whole range of things that it could be. It's checking, savings, business banking, personal loans. And for me, I found that I was really passionate about solving those problems and helping them meet their goals. And when I bought my first house, getting ready to meet that goal was one of the hardest things I had to do and kind of overcome. And I thought that I would be able to help people do that.
Fantastic.
So a renovation loan is when you can include the cost of repairs or upgrades into your mortgage loan instead of paying it separately. And a construction loan is basically the same thing, but they just entail a little bit different details as far as how expansive your renovation or your construction is going to be going.
Okay, and what's the difference between renovation and construction?
So renovation is going to be more like you're going to be redoing your bathrooms, maybe putting on a new roof. And our renovation loan is actually a Fannie Mae product. It's called home style renovation, and it's typically a purchase. So you can do a contract with it. So let's say that you find a home that needs a little bit of work. You can put an offer in on it, and to us, you're going to be buying the home for the total cost of the price plus your renovation. Okay. So if the house needs a new roof, we would include that. For construction, it's to build a whole house.
It's to build a whole house.
Right.
Okay.
So it's very specific. Or if your renovations are pretty intense, like I've had them where they're taking off the roof to put on a new like vaulted ceilings, so that would be construction. So typically if you need permits for something, that would be more construction. Renovation is typically more at a lesser grade. Something that they should consider is that it typically is more expensive.
Typically more expensive.
Yeah,
Okay.
than buying, than your conventional home purchase. A lot of people think that it may be cheaper, but for construction, for example, it's typically not a purchase product. So you would typically have your land purchased first.
Okay.
So that's one thing to consider is that you have to purchase the land first. That's always the first step. And then construction. And for most banks, just like we don't, on your conventional loan products, you don't loan 100% of the purchase. We do not loan 100% of the construction.
So there's got to be some money put down.
Yes.
There's got to be. How much is it usually down? Do you know?
So it's not really a down payment because they'd have the land first. So It's kind of like a refinance of your land at that point.
Oh.
But we can do up to 90% of what your expected finished value is to be.
Is that based on what the appraiser will give?
Yep. So we order an appraisal and we give them your plans, your construction contract. They know what everything, the materials and specifications of the home are going to be. There's a cost breakdown on exactly how much everything's going to cost. We give that to them, and then they will say the value will be when it's as completed. So you have to be able to put utilities on it. So if you find a piece of land that's completely raw and it still has trees on it, you have to do some testing on the land to make sure that a well can go in, a septic can go in, that you have access to electricity somewhere at the street.
Okay.
Or because, if you want to live there, you're going to want those things, right?
Right, most definitely. You need those.
You need those.
Yeah.
You need those to get the land for it to be financed by the bank. And then when you actually get into wanting to build, you have to find a builder. You have to decide what kind of home you want. You have to go through the permitting process with the county and your plans. And there's all sorts of builders. You can go to a builder who already has plans that you pick from. You can go to a custom builder where they make the plans for you. And so that's a range of price. And the lending process for construction is not easy. I would say it's definitely a little bit more difficult and time consuming than a conventional loan. I would say if somebody they have not started their construction process at all, I would say maybe 90 days. You can't do the work yourself with renovation, and we can do, it's probably more like a 45-day close because you're under purchase contract. And so it makes it a little bit more difficult because you still need to get that construction documentation to say what you're going to be fixing on the home. So there's more documentation to collect when you're under contract on a purchase for a renovation loan.
Okay.
But it's still doable in a shorter amount of time than regular construction.
What expenses can be included in a construction loan? And what are some expenses that can't be considered or put into the construction loan?
As far as bank fees goes and things like that.
Yeah,
in general.
Just in general.
Yeah, so our construction loan is not a Fannie Mae conventional product. It's a portfolio product. So for us, there is origination fees that aren't typically considered or that you don't typically have for a regular convention loan. And there's all sorts of price adjusters that can happen depending on what your construction loan looks like. So we offer, if you're a builder and you want to build your own home, we offer that. You don't have to hire a contractor, but there's price adjusters for that. It'll be more expensive. It's more risk. So depending on the risk space, it can be more expensive. And then other fees that are included, like there's permitting fees that can be kind of expensive. Like just without everything except for what it costs to build the home, like you got utility hookups, the feasibility on the land, like you got to do soil testing for the septic. You got to get somebody out there to make sure a well can go in. All of that costs money.
Last thing, Brittney, I want to ask, what is one piece or one action people can take today to begin their construction process?
So if people are very serious about wanting to build a new home, and that's their goal for the future, the first thing that I would do is to find a real estate agent who is proficient in land.
Find a real estate agent proficient in land.
And is familiar with the county that you're wanting to look in, because it's very important, and not all agents are educated on the land process. And second is I would go to a lender who does land and find out what their qualifications for that are, and if they do land and construction separately or if they do them together.
Usually there's more risk. There's not as much collateral, so things to consider is they're probably going to ask for 20 to 30% down. Usually it's 30% down. It's 30% down on the land itself. And depending on what state or what county you're in, obviously that might be a big expense. And it starts with something as simple as budgeting, beginning your financial analysis, right? What are your goals? It starts with what do you want? What do you want? I want a house with 10 acres, right? What's the dollar amount on that? What can we start today to put that into our financial analysis? And then when the time comes that you build your dream house. And this is exactly how we do it, is with a construction or renovation loan. Brittney, thank you so much for your time today. Is there any last minute things you want to tell the people?
No, just thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Don't forget, download your free home buying brochure. Schedule a call with us. Let's talk about a construction loan. Follow Brittney, follow me, and let's chat soon. Thank you for attending class.
Thank you.